Okay, this is taking me a while. I'm trying a new program to record my video, and this is a test, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know if there will be a lot of cross stitch in this video because I'm testing some new software. Basically, I did want to welcome everybody to Stitching Memories. I have been very absent. I threw up a few really quick videos just because I had finished or completed stitching some items and they were going off to the finishers, and so I wanted them to be seen. And then some items had gone off to finisher that I never had made videos about. So just kind of, everyone, please bear with me. Thank you for your patience with all of this. I will get better. I will endeavor to definitely put the effort into learning how to do these things. It's amazing. I spent years taking pictures and without any training, and was able to do that just fine, but for some reason really hard time when pictures are moving. And for some reason using computer video cameras or computer cameras, webcams, etc., versus using still cameras. I am having a few problems with some areas, and so I guess that's probably what I'm going to mostly do, is probably talk about some of that. One of the things is I have always been an excellent starter and a really great finisher. As far as when I start projects, I start a hobby, I start a craft, I finish it. Now, the only thing in my past that usually would interrupt that or stop that or kind of cause a halt would be work obligations or familial time, etc. Because I live so far away from all my family and kind of always have, the familial definitely takes a priority. But what I'm finding out now, that my schedule is varied due to some personal things. I actually have more technical time to stitch and stitch less. And so what I'm finding is that I need to add a little more structure, something that I thought was a lot of structure in my day, and kind of went to a completely unstructured, uninhibited, do whatever I want to do kind of thing. And I got things done and productive, but not always as productive or getting as many things done as I'd like. So in the interest of trying to be fair to myself and push myself, find that balance, I'm going to be playing around with some things that I'm going to start working on. One is starting to do more tracking of the actual amount of time I spend stitching. So oftentimes I sit down to stitch, and then social media is up and I get some sort of email or some sort of Insta message or some sort of Facebook post, and drop the stitching and go on to it. And that's okay. It's okay to do a little bit of that. It's okay to multitask. I'm an excellent multitasker. But unfortunately with cross stitch, any handcraft, the multitasking needs to be in the form of eye-ear multitasking versus hand-hand multitasking. So I should say eye-ear-hand versus hand-hand. So instead of checking emails, instead of jumping on every time I get the little bing that I have a message, I need to set myself periods of time, just like I do in when I'm in corporate offices, just like I do or have done most of my life. Set periods of time. Here's your email time, here's your fun Facebook time, here's your crafting time, here's your household projects time, here's your cleaning time, I don't want it to be so regimented that I'm like, okay, from 4:15 to 4:25, you know, I will sweep the floor. I mean, I don't want it to be that regimented, which I have done in my past, but I do want to have some structure. There's a lot I want to work on, personally. I'm kind of setting professionally to the back of burner, which is something I have never done and is way stepping out of my comfort zone and my wheelhouse, and pushing personal up front, right front center stage. So bear with me as I learn how to do this. Any tips, tricks, hints, anything along the way, you know, feel free, chime in. I love input. Okay. And criticism, as long as it's constructive criticism, I'm all for that as well. So one thing that I am starting to do is I'm building my own planner system. There are a million planner systems, and I'm not building something that's going to be marketed, because it's going to be taking bits and pieces and bobs from other planners that I've used in the past that have worked and squishing it all together and inputting into my planner system in some gray areas, like working on, you know, reading and handcrafting and learning, and you know, there's some outdoor things I want to start doing if it ever gets cooler. So that's kind of where that's going to go. But because of my physical health mostly, a lot of these things will have to be in small bits. And then maybe revisit it again in the day, week, month, or wherever that it's at. So I'm finding that I can't do really any one thing for a long period of time. That makes it hard to sit down and really make a lot of progress on a cross-stitch project when you can't sit still, you know, back hurts, whatever. So I think what I want to do is kind of chop my crafting time into small bits so that I can actually get it done, and use my cross-stitch time to actually do that. And when it's another time in the day for me to sit, then that's when I can do Facebook or whatever other social media is. Bing, 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 look at me, look at me. Okay. I also have been away a lot because there's some familial issues happening with health of family that have me in not a good headspace, and I don't like to broadcast things like that. So, you know, bear with me if you see me disappear for a little bit, or, you know, things along that nature. So I'm going to kind of take a little bit of break here, get some water, because my throat's kind of not doing well. And then I'm going to come back with kind of maybe some questions I'm going to ask of you of kind of what works for you, because I'd really like to develop this system as something that I can use across every aspect of my life, but its focus will be on getting projects started. Okay, so you have to get everything up to project start, sourcing the items, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then starting it, tracking it, you know, setting the goals, short-term, long-term, etc., and then getting it done. Then when you hit those roadblocks in the road, you hit those places where you're, you know, like in weight loss, when you hit that plateau, you lose your stitchy bug, you know, kind of things to encourage to roll over that a little bit. I am not looking for ways to cross-stitch the fastest, because if that was the case, I would just go buy some machine and have it do it all for me. I like the process of sitting and putting needle and thread through fabric. It's very relaxing for the most part, and definitely helps with my hand-eye coordination and some other areas. So I'm not looking for tips to make me faster, I am looking for ways to make me productive. So, there'll be organization things I'll be dealing with. There'll be time, of course, time management things I'll be dealing with. Playing around with different options. There will be, probably gadgets and gadgets that, may come into play. There may be software, paper. Now, I very much am I like to touch paper. I like to smell books. Those things are important to me. It is kind of easier for me to check things off on a piece of paper, like a to-do list, than it is for me to open an app in an iPhone or an iPad or my computer and type up a note. I have spent so much of my life typing that sometimes you just want to hold a pencil or a pen. On the flip side of that, there are days I can't hold a pencil or pen very well, and so I need to have something that will allow me to do simple, like, maybe have some things pre-filled in, so that all I have to do is do a check mark, or, so things along those lines. I also would like to kind of broaden and encourage myself to tap into what I know is a creative source that I've never tapped into. I'm famous for saying I can pretty much do anything as long as there's a pattern to follow, or I can watch somebody do it, I can duplicate, replicate, whatever, a lot of things. But to have that source of creating myself, I have never seen it exist in any medium, whether that be photography or writing or journaling or scrapbooking or crochet or, my new love, cross stitch. I mean, it really doesn't matter which area, that creativity that I want to be there, I've never really found a way to find. I know it has to be there. I think everybody has a creative source of some degree. I don't want to design patterns. I don't want to become the next great fabric dyer. But I'd like to be able to express a little bit of creativity in whatever medium that is. So, if it's journaling, some greater writing styles, creativity. I'd love to be the kind of person that can doodle. As you see, I like to move my hands around. If my hands aren't doing something, I'm not good at just sitting still. Even watching TV, my hands have to be doing something, or I have to go to sleep. Because just sitting there watching TV, where it's maybe something I really love and something I'm captivated by, if my hands aren't busy, I'm kind of going to, okay. So, same thing, I have figured in a vehicle. If I'm not driving the vehicle or in control of the vehicle, I'm going to sleep. Because I'm either going to get sick from motion sickness because I'm not in control, or out of just sheer boredom. So, because I'm not moving around. Okay. So, this has actually gotten to be a little bit longer than I thought. I'm hoping that I can learn to do some editing on this, and that you all will come along with me and kind of help me go to this next stage in my stitching memory walk. So everyone have a great day, and I'll see you soon.